Ay, 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 ay. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Blackford Book Club once more. Thank you very much for returning for yet another exciting, enthralling edition of the Essential Film Reviews Collection. The Lobster, directed by Greek filmmaker Yorgos Lanthimos, is a film I truly adore. And so I'm now going to try to give my own written word a modicum of justice for a film that is utterly amazing. It's also a slightly longer film review than the most recent ones I've been posting here, so I'm going to allow myself some stumbles and some bumbles along the way because you're a forgiving lot out there, and also I'm just fooling around in front of a video camera. Following a lengthy list of countries including Ireland, the UK, France, Greece and the Netherlands, as well as numerous independent film production companies and their national affiliates, are all detailed in minute font against a plain dark black background. The film commences with a close-up shot of a woman driving a car in the pouring rain. After stopping the car, the camera never moves from the vantage point of the passenger seat as the woman exits the car and walks into a nearby field before shooting dead a donkey. As another donkey slowly walks in front of his now deceased friend, the woman trudges back to the car through the pouring rain as the opening title of The Lobster is shown centrally on the screen amid another plain, dark, black background. We cut to an over-the-shoulder shot of a partly obscured David, Colin Farrell, who appears crestfallen, listless, and with only his dog Bob for company. The doorbell rings and soon a female narration commences that although someone doesn't love them anymore, he doesn't cry, before a further cut now follows a white van along a nondescript road. Immediately we cut to a now fuller profile of David as he disconsolately and distractedly answers a raft of questions from an unseen woman off screen. Downcast and deadpan, he answers incredibly personal questions regarding his longest relationship, 11 years, 1 month, before admitting to a homosexual relationship whilst at college, and, after an incredibly long pause, he confirms his sexuality as heterosexual. A quick cut to the exterior of the building establishes a grand hotel structure on the shore of a lake before we return inside to David confirming that the dog isn't in fact his but his brother's, and the woman questioner is now shown fully for the first time confirming he has been allocated a single room for the next 45 days and, if you make it, you'll move to a double room. David is now required to strip naked to his underpants and is provided a standard set of clothing and 2 pairs of shoes as personal belongings are not allowed, before he joins a small gaggle of similarly naked men and women sitting on chairs at the side of the room. The next cut finds David standing in just his underpants in room 101 with his brother's dog as he stares out of the window and onto the adjoining lake. The woman's narration continues as David searches through the wardrobe to find 4 identical blue or dark coloured shirts and trousers. There is also a tranquilizer gun hanging on the wall and 20 darts sit on a nearby table. The camera now pans from David's viewpoint out of the window and downward to the tarmac road, where there is a collection of bodies described by the narrator as loners, arranged in a neat row. There is a knock at the door, before a number of hotel staff and the hotel manager, Olivia Colman, enter David's room. A very straightforward, unsmiling and taciturn lady, she quickly confirms that David has exactly 45 days in which to find love and find a partner, or else he will turn into an animal of his own choosing. We now cut to a continuing downcast and unsmiling David with Bob the dog sprawled beneath the window. David confirms that he wishes to transform into a lobster because they live for 100 years. Before one hand is manacled behind him and attached to his belt by a member of the hotel staff, both the manager and her staff now exit David's room. Welcome to The Lobster. Directed by Greek-born filmmaker Yorgos Lanthimos, The Lobster was his 6th all-time feature-length cinematic release in 2015, his first in the English language and, if you pardon the eating metaphor, the meat in the sandwich of 2 of his more well-known releases, with Dogtooth in 2009 and The Killing of a Sacred Deer in 2017. This particular film has long been on my desired watch list radar due to my acting admiration for Colin Farrell, and I seem to be having a season of his films currently. Please see my recent reviews of In Bruges, 7 Psychopaths and The Banshees of Inisherin. His fellow cast members including the magnificent Olivia Colman, Ashley Jensen, Ben Whishaw, John C Reilly and of course the always enigmatically brilliant Michael Smiley. I've also long been drawn to the film poster with its missing pieces, and finally, as Wednesday the 29th of March 2023 tiptoed into the early morning of Thursday the 30th of March, I settled into as bizarre a tale as I've recently watched. But was it any good? The answer is yes, and almost. I watch a lot of films, and I don't always pen my thoughts on every one, believe it or not. But I seem to have recently stumbled upon a number that are distinctly in 2 halves, and The Lobster, to my eye, is very definitely one of them. As I hope I've conveyed with my opening 10-minute appreciation at the commencement of this article, the film goes from strength to ultra-bizarre strength from here for the first hour, and within the confines of a lakeside hotel that feels like a prison. Olivia Colman's hotel manager character is as cold and detached as ice, with rarely a smile passing her lips, a definite characteristic of a film that is laugh out loud hilarious at times. But the regimentation and routines of the hotel in league with the prisoners, guests, all in uniformed attire, suits or prison-style dark blue or black for the males, flowery dresses for the females, and there are punishments meted out for transgressors of etiquette or rules within a zero-tolerance policy for anyone wishing to not participate in the hotel's strict daily routines. Just wait for the daily regime and somewhat roll call or the cringe and winch-inducing singing of Something's Gotten Hold of My Heart, as our dead-eyed lovebirds try to secure a dance with the fairer sex. Everyone has a characteristic that simply has to be matched for them to escape the purgatory of the 45 days or the ultimate transformation into their animal of choice. John C Reilly, for instance, has a lisp, and Ben Whishaw a limp. One woman has a recurring nosebleed, and one woman is scathingly put down as being heartless. And therein lies the story of the first half of the film, and arguably the template for the film entire. Everyone is here seeking love and companionship in a horribly dystopian world, and that's just within the confines again of the hotel. The backwards dystopia extends far beyond the boundaries of the hotel, but within it, everyone has a unique characteristic to go with their morose, deadpan, dead-eyed, and dead-to-the-world matter-of-fact outlook and communication with everyone else. It is incredibly funny, but equally it's jarring, awkward, and there's a very real air of tension, dread, and the feel of impending doom or personal threat. The second half of the film, whilst I won't be commenting any further for spoiler reasons, isn't a match for the magnificent hour that comes before it, but the threat-inducing air continues in league with an incredible music soundtrack. No one person is credited with the score, only a music department, but all 6 people credited deserve huge kudos for a jagged and ominous orchestral string soundtrack that continually reminded me of Johnny Greenwood's creation for Paul Thomas Anderson's Ode to American Capitalism in There Will Be Blood, and a film that screened 1984, or George Lucas's coldly dystopian debut film THX 1138. The Lobster is the oddest, coldest, threat-inducing singles club full of people desperate for love you're ever likely to see, and it may well shock you at how uproariously funny it is too. Highly recommended. And that was The Lobster from 2015, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. And this is Stephen Blackford, bringing you spoiler-free, pointless film reviews since 2012. And I leave you in peace and in solidarity. And I truly thank you for watching. Thanks everyone. Peace everyone.